The Russian-Ukrainian war enters its 382nd day, Sunday, the 3rd of December 2023. The British Defense Ministry called Bakhmut city a kill zone, while Russian strikes killed 3 civilians in Kherson. Following are other developments, as reported by The Guardian. Bakhmut has become a potentially particularly challenging kill zone for Russian Wagner mercenary forces trying to continue their advance west, says the UK Ministry of Defense. It is said that over the past 4 days, Wagner's forces have taken control of most of eastern Bakhmut. Meanwhile, Ukrainian troops holding its western section had destroyed the main bridge over the Bakhmutka River, which now marked the front line. A spokesman for the Ukrainian military said on Saturday, the 3rd of November 2023, that more than 500 Russian soldiers were killed or injured in the last 24-hour period in Bakhmut. Serhiy Cherevity said Russia had carried out 16 attacks in that period, while 23 clashes took place in Bakhmut. Yevgeny Prigozhin, head of the Russian paramilitary group Wagner, said his troops were near the administrative center of Bakhmut. 3 civilians died in Russian shelling in the Kherson region, and another died in Donetsk, regional officials said. Reuters reported that the governor of the Kherson region, Alexander Perkudin, said 3 people, including an elderly woman, were also injured. President Volodymyr Zelensky said the 3 people who died in Kherson had gone to a shop to buy groceries. "I want to support all our cities and communities that were subjected to brutal terrorist attacks," he said in a video address late in the day. Russia has bombarded Ukraine more than 40,500 times since its invasion in February 2022, according to Ukraine's Interior Minister, Ihor Klimenko. The attacks have destroyed more than 152,000 buildings since the war began, Euromaidan reported, citing Klimenko as saying. Russian missile strike targeted important infrastructure in Zaporizhia, Kyiv Independent reports. The attack launched on Saturday most likely came from an S-300 air defense missile, the news agency said, citing the military administration of the Zaporizhia Oblast. Ukraine's foreign minister, Dmytro Kuleba, dismissed reports that pro-Ukrainian groups carried out an attack on the Nord Stream pipeline late last year. Addressing former Portuguese minister Bruno Macaes in an interview with New Statesman, Kuleba said, "This is the first time I have heard stories about a pro-Ukrainian or Ukrainian secret group capable of carrying out such a large and sophisticated operation." Canada announced a ban on imports of Russian aluminum and steel products, with the aim of preventing Moscow's revenue from flowing to fund its war in Ukraine. Those imports are worth nearly $180 million in 2021, according to the latest government data. In an interview, Ukraine's foreign minister urged Germany to speed up ammunition supplies and train Ukrainian pilots in Western fighter jets. Dmytro Kuleba told the Bild am Sonntag newspaper that ammunition shortages were the #1 problem in Ukraine's efforts to repel the Russian invasion. Most of Kyiv's electricity supply was restored, Ukrainian officials said, after a barrage of Russian missiles and drones targeted critical infrastructure on Thursday. Power supply has been fully restored in Ukraine's southern Odessa region, says private provider DTEK. Meanwhile, about 60% of households in the cut-off city of Kharkiv are back online, the Associated Press cited authorities. Significant damage is still being done in the Zhytomyr and Kharkiv regions in northwestern and northeastern Ukraine. Iran has reached an agreement to buy advanced Su-35 fighter jets from Russia, Iranian state media reported on Saturday. The Sukhoi 35 fighter is technically acceptable to Iran, and Iran has finalized the contract for the purchase of the aircraft, the IRIB report quoted Iran's UN mission in New York as saying. The British government is urging Olympic sponsors to pressure the International Olympic Committee, IOC, over its proposal to allow Russia and Belarus to participate in next year's Paris Olympics, British media reported on Saturday. The IOC has faced criticism after paving a pathway for athletes from Russia and its ally Belarus to gain Olympic slots via the Asian qualifiers and to compete as neutrals in Paris, Reuters reports. Russia registers the World Wildlife Fund as a foreign agent. According to Russia's Justice Ministry, the Washington, D.C.-based conservation group under the guise of protecting nature and the environment tries to influence decisions of executive and legislative authorities and hinder the implementation of industrial and infrastructure projects, reports the Associated Press. Regarding the Nord Stream pipeline bombing, it is estimated that pro-Ukrainian groups used hundreds of kilograms of explosives. The Nord Stream pipeline connecting the Russian network to Germany exploded on September 26, 2022. Then, damage to the Nord Stream pipeline has raised fears of possible sabotage attempts. Al Jazeera reported, the Danish armed forces released a video showing bubbles visible on the surface of the Baltic Sea, right above the pipe on Tuesday, the 27th of September 2022. The report in Der Spiegel, quoted by The Guardian, Saturday, the 3rd of November 2023, said the undersea attack on the Nord Stream gas pipeline was carried out by a team of divers operating from Andromeda, a 15-meter charter yacht. On September 6th, Der Spiegel traced Andromeda's route around the Baltic from Rostock, the German city, to the island of Rügen and finally to the island of Christiano in Denmark, close to the site of the explosion. Experts questioned how many explosives were used in the sabotage attack. It is estimated that the explosives used reached hundreds of kilograms. Another question also arises about whether there are other ships involved, considering that there must be a breathing apparatus carried in the effort. Der Spiegel said that one of the 6 crew members at Andromeda used fake Bulgarian passports. But German investigators have not identified the nationalities of the bombers or attributed responsibility to any government. A New York Times report this week cited intelligence sources as saying that pro-Ukrainian groups were involved in the Nord Stream pipeline bombing. German authorities have warned about a possible false flag operation in which misleading clues are deliberately left to point in the wrong direction. Ukraine has denied involvement. The Ukrainian government has denied involvement in the attacks on the Nord Stream 1 and 2 pipelines. The pipeline, built to transport natural gas from Russia to Germany, is majority owned by Russia's state-owned Gazprom. They were not operational at the time of the attack, which came 7 months after Vladimir Putin's all-out invasion of Ukraine. Spiegel quoted a port chief in Rügen as saying that the group that hired Andromeda were dressed like normal sailors. They are seen carrying shopping bags filled with provisions to the ship, speaking in a language that sounds Polish or Czech to him. He added that the group consisted of several men and women. A glimpse of Andromeda. Andromeda is the Bavaria C-50, a sailing boat built by the German company Bavaria Yachts. The facility has 5 cabins and space for up to 11 people. This boat has a platform behind for diving. At the blast site, in the Baltic Sea, some 80 meters deep, special diving skills and special air tanks were required. One with a helium-oxygen mixture and one with pure oxygen, the Spiegel report said. Each dive will require the boat to be above the pipe for about 3 hours. Laying explosives on the 2 pipelines 4 kilometers apart might require 4 dives over several days. Dive experts say such long deep dives would require decompression chambers for divers, which would not fit on cruise ships. We have presented a piece of the puzzle. However, we don't know how big the puzzle is. Is it 50 pieces, 500 or 5,000 pieces? Said Christian Malling, head of the Center for Security and Defense at the German Council on Foreign Relations. Germany's public prosecutor's office said that a ship was searched between January 18 and 20 on suspect it was used to transport an explosive device that exploded on September 26, 2022.